This morning, we are learning fascinating details of Michelle Obama's roots. Today's New York Times traces her family's five-generation path from slavery to the White House. We're joined this morning by genealogist Megan Smoleyak, who uncovered Mrs. Obama's family tree. Good morning.
Good morning.
This is almost like a mystery. We knew for certain that on her father's side of the family that traced back to slavery, but there were rumors about on her mother's side. How did you make the connection, and who was the key person?
Well, I'll tell you, I worked back methodically generation by generation, but of all her ancestors, the one who called to me the most loudly was one named Melvina, who was a great-great-great-grandmother.
Right.
And she was just fascinating. For example, I found a codicil on her from 1850 where she's first mentioned she's only 6 years old.
Right.
And in that document, her first owner, a fellow by the name of David Patterson, is leaving her to his wife when he passes away.
There it is. I mean, there is the actual will and testament,
Yes,
and
yes.
this little girl is named. She's 6 years old.
Yeah.
She's also listed in another, I mean, it is listed as a piece of property. What is her
Right.
value?
$475. The fellow who owned her died 2 years later, and she was part of an inventory of his
Right.
estate, and she's listed as $475.
So she goes from this bigger plantation then to a smaller
Right.
plantation.
She got
Right.
sent to his daughter down in Georgia, and obviously that was against her will.
Right.
And so this is how she winds up with the Shields family.
Because the daughter was married to a Shields.
Right,
Is
right.
it clear she had 4 children, correct?
She had probably more children, but she had 4 children when she lived in this particular place.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's interesting, the 1870 census, we see her with her children. She's living next door to a member of that Shields family that
Right.
once owned her.
And the children are listed as mulatto.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
So we
right.
know they're of mixed race, but we
Right.
have no idea who the father is.
No, I mean, you can guess, the first good guess would be somebody from the Shields family, but we don't know that.
One of her children is named Dolphus.
Yes,
Right.
yes, yes.
And this guy ends up owning property, having a business, and is a somewhat prominent member of the community in Birmingham, Alabama.
Yeah, he was born in Georgia, but he moved to Birmingham. He opened his own carpentry shop.
Right.
He owned his own home by 1900, which
Right.
back then, put it in context, very few people owned their own homes.
Phenomenal distance
Yeah.
he traveled, and on the day he dies,
Right.
in the early 1950s, his funeral notice is listed on the front page of the Black Birmingham, Alabama newspaper on the same day that desegregation, or we should say rules against Jim Crow laws,
Right,
were
right.
ruled illegal by the Supreme Court.
Astonishing, you know, he was born into slavery. He lives long enough to see the baby steps of desegregation. And what's more startling, if you think about it, is a descendant of his who was born only 14 years later would wind up in the White House.
In the White House. And so
Yeah.
Dolphus was Michelle Obama's great grandfather.
Absolutely, yes.
There you go. When people find these kinds of documents, especially African Americans, what does it mean to them?
It's different for different people. It is jarring if your ancestors show up as a piece of property, so that's something that you have to prepare yourself for. But most people just want to find the truth.
Wow, what a truth to unfold.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much for your hard work. What detective work. Very impressive. Do appreciate it, Megan. Thank you.